Mr. Ranjit Kumar, KN, Partner, RDX Architects. Mr. Shagul Nizamuddin, Principal Architect, Isra Design and Infratech Private Limited. And lastly, Mr. Ravi Kumar, Sales Head, South B, Nexian Surfaces Private Limited. Please come on to the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for this.
My name is Mark Silveraj from Natec EPC Private Limited. I'm an architect plus urban design professional, having around 20 plus years of experience. And I'm also an association of architects. And I have a wonderful team here who has enough experience to discuss about how the future of urban design and urban of Chennai is going to be. So, thank you all. Thanks for coming for such a wonderful event. And thank you the event partners to give us such a topic to discuss. This is more of a non-architecturally speaking, but this is more of a city's very important topic. Like we need to be connected to this urban every time. So now I like to start with Mr. Ravi Kumar. He is apparently a non-architect compared to others. Like we are all architects here. So how to get started with like when being in Chennai, like how the urban scape of Chennai is actually touching you, and in comparison to his experience from his hometown Kerala, and also the places that he used to visit, and he has got such a wonderful product that you would also all seen in stall next year. So, and we are personally have used their product as well. Like it's also a premium product. So I'd like to ask Mr. Ravi Kumar to tell about like how what he feels about like urban scape. Then I would like to start next Mr. Shagul and Mr. Ranjit and Mr. Ravindra, and we have Mr. Pandey. We're all going to discuss about this interesting topics. So please go on, Mr. Ravi Kumar. Like, what do you feel about Chennai? Is being how I feel good about like being a Chinese person. How this urban scape touches you?
Thank you, Architect Mark. So, see, being an outsider, not a Chennai, I belongs to Kerala. At least once in a month or twice in a month, I used to come to Chennai. Almost for the last 7 to 10 years, I have been into Chennai. Chennai, I would say that it is earlier, honestly, 10 years down before, it would not have been giving any respect to the public spaces. But over a period of time, I could understand that it has started giving some amount of respect for public gathering and to the public spaces. And when I was here, right in front of, right in this particular hotel, I could also identify a place just opposite to this, which later on I came to know that that open area space was designed by none other than our own moderator, architect Mark Silveraj, and a big round of applause for that. That is a good space actually. So what I feel is that even though there are spaces are there, but of late some amount of element of innovation is happening in those spaces. But whether are we really able to connect to individuals in that particular place is a matter of doubt. Those places are, I could see park, couple of gatherings are happening, maybe fooding chains are happening. But what about the architects or cultural activities? Any form of cultural activities. Maybe what is happening over there, honestly speaking, I could see people go for a round in the morning. Then after that it is a certain place, and I could see a lot of people comes for during the lunchtime, have lunch, but maybe in the evening. But hardly any cultural activities, which generally happens in a Western countries or many parts of India it also happens. But such kind of activities isn't really happening, which creates a bonding among the public or in the community, whether it is really happening is a real question. And in fact, I believe, or I have got my own doubt that it is actually not happening. Maybe it is being kick-started with the places like what you have designed over there.
It's recently it's become a trend. Like you can see, like one in Katipara and other areas, there is a lot of urban spaces being created. It's a public project majorly. So I hope like we'll be there and we are creating some kind of a discussion here that goes as a thought process to sure the government and associated people about like, from many places are going to come. So I also like to touch upon like do you have products for such elements like we being an architect? Like, I could see like a lot of your products are interior.
Right.
Related. If there is a product. I think there's a definitely good market for it. So it's like I just wanted to tell you. Let us know. You have a good research product. That's why I just told.
Okay. So, like architect, what you are discussing, like in public spaces, what happens is different kinds of people do come, and kids run all across, and people also run. And it could be a dry area, it could be a wet area. So it is quite important that the flooring also matches, and it has got a security, or it should have a grip to ensure the security. So in the security in the sense that the tiles should not be slippery, it should hold on to your feet or to your shoes. So for that we have an anti-slip resistant or slip resistant tiles, which is something like R9 or R10 category. So in public domain spaces we rather recommend to have R10 or something like R11, which ensures that you don't slip those tiles. So because it has got a better grip. So those public spaces, we have got such products, and we also have products which can be used for facades with different color combinations, which as an architect, when you are designing, it should gel with your requirements.
Yes, good to know that. I would ask next to Mr. Shahul, like as from an architect perspective, like how the Chennai urban scape treats you, like how you wish that Chennai urban space can be, what could be your future of the Chennai urban scape would be like. Can you just please touch upon those points?
Hi everyone. So since we are going to talk about it, which is the future of urban and especially in Chennai, as Mr. Ravi told, the present condition of Chennai, when we see it, the development of the urban spaces and the new developments that is being given by the government, the development of parks, the development of lakes, the development of other infrastructure like bus terminals, it looks very positive. But when you see the actual today condition of an urban people who lives inside the city, most of them feel it's quite pathetic because the developments are not being very structurized. There is some kind of a confusion which has been moving around, and we could see if you take any street in Chennai and you travel, you would see the streets are dark for some reason, either for
we all know the problems of Chennai. So what I would like you to probably touch upon being an architect, like how we can see that the Chennai roads can be a better, the Chennai urban scape can be a better, so a lot of parts to fix.
Not to be negative. So I just think that the stakeholders of Chennai city, there are too many stakeholders, right? There could be some kind of a participation which public can also involve. So the decision making between the stakeholders, the public which wants something. So when today the development of city is progressively very good. So we are looking out for a very good infrastructure in terms of metro, which is going to be there north, south, everywhere, west. And apart from the infrastructure, we should also think on the citizens who live inside the city. So what is the day-to-day activity? How does economic going to improve? So how this function will be. So the future of urban itself, it's going to be like dictating, or it's going to be like giving some promising to the development of the people themselves.
Yeah, it's good, like we've been touching upon like the cities are the engines of the economy. So we are in Chennai, like there's a lot of urban spaces are coming up.
Yeah.
I'm sure like as an architect you have a role to play also. Like I would like to ask Mr. Ranjit, like what is the role of an architect do you think like in an urban scape exactly? Like what Mr. Shagul was telling about like how Chennai urban scape is like, what do you think like would be the role of the architect is really for both public spaces and also some private spaces which connects to the public spaces? So that's all together we call it as an urban scape and urban design. So what do you think like is the role of an architect? You being taken up some of the government projects that we know, like how the experience is, like what do you think is the future and what would be your wish and how the Chennai's urban design can be on our future? So tell us that experience.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. Basically, I'm an architect in the domain of public spaces and large-scale townships and biophilic urban design and sustainable designs. Basically, like bringing nature closer to the cities and those kind of things. So, based on my 10 years of experience of taking up different kinds of these urban design projects through our firm, I could definitely say a lot of improvements are happening, but when it comes to the roles and responsibilities of an architect while designing the urban spaces and even a non-urban space could become an urban space. Like if you take 10 acres of a site where you are going to design a mixed-use development where you have a transit station abutting your site in the one side and the water body abutting your site on the other side. So you have different fabrics of elements of urban fabric surrounding your site. An architect should be able to extend his scope beyond his boundary. So we shouldn't always stop within our boundary. We need to think about the future aspects and future development and what are all the scope that the city can provide for those kind of natural resources and also the urban fabric. So I could quote few examples, like we have been doing redevelopment of Adair Creek, which is around like 358 acres. We have won that competition last year and we managed to complete it last year, like a couple of months back. In that, like you could see, like government have taken a huge responsibility to actually redevelop and restore. Like before a decade ago, no one knows about that urban creek as a breathing space. It was like a slum development kind of thing, and no one could actually enter that space, and they have developed it in a huge way. But now the government wants to take it up to the next level, how we can make the community to participate in their developed space. All the ecosystem have reached its climax, and all the infrastructures that they have developed as part of the master plan for that 358 acres have been done beautifully. Now the government has planned to actually bring in a lot of people into the eco park and also like develop it as a biophilic infrastructure where the nature can interact with the community and teach and educate. The acres of huge lung space is actually at the center of the city. So as an architect, what we have done is like open out that space to the public so that everyone can participate and get to know about our natural resources and how to actually respect those kind of infrastructures, and rather than like exploiting it and polluting it, those kind of things. So this is the major one of the role as an architect that everyone needs to take. I'm not talking about only the large scale project. Even a small scale projects, like we have a small thing called OSR, Open Space Reservation. 10% of the land has to be dedicated to the green space, and even the built-up area of the building goes beyond 20 square meters. We need to give 15% of the area as a green belt. So these kind of things an architect could actually keep it in mind and develop it as a biophilic spaces and infrastructures which could take their architecture and also their creation beyond the boundary of their sites. So this is what
good point like that you made, like being public space of Chennai based on your experience. So but there is a lot of projects that you could see, like whether it's architect involved or not, like there's many buildings doesn't really talk to streets. They're way above, there will be a lot of ramps that you have to approach in like a climb. So it doesn't gel well, like that kind of city's development is going through. As an architect, I also feel like the architect should take a responsibility. Thanks for Rajiv pointing out that we should create a building which actually goes gel with the neighborhood. We should create a building that goes gel with the city's fabric, and we should create a space that actually gives an overall character of the place. Like next speaker, Mr. Ravindra, like who's having huge experience working in Singapore, is one of the urban design master's degree holder from Singapore, and he has got a lot of experience working in South Asian countries. I last asked Mr. Ravinder, our architects, and he's also Vice President of Association of Professional Architects. So give us like some of your experience, like how does Chennai city's fabric and urban design space can be more vibrant, like what you can see in Dubai or Singapore or any other nice places that you would see, like when you go there, like you would feel like, oh, this is the city that I want to be at, this is the city that I'm connected and I'm proud of. Like how do you make such cities like more interactive and connected to citizens and gives a prosperity and economy? So give us your experience.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for the introduction. Good afternoon, guys. Okay, just to touch base, I kind of worked in Singapore for close to 14-15 years. I was in Singapore and had an opportunity to work in projects in Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, Jakarta, of course a lot of projects in Singapore as well, in Dubai. The drastic difference I see in, comparison between cities of, let's say you take a cities of America or UK, and then the Asian cities. The difference that we see here, the density of the population, what we call, how do you evaluate the density? In American cities, except Manhattan, for example, 5,000 people per square kilometer. Whereas in Asian cities, generally, if you look at the average ranges, we are looking at 25,000 to 30,000. That is massive. That is like, we are discussing here, let's say, 5 or 6 times the massive population. So cities expand drastically, right? So the idea is it has to support the growing population. The real challenge is how are we going to come up with accommodate these growing population in such a manner that the urban fabric in such a way that we have a very limited space of land. So that is a challenge. In giving them the quality in spaces, that is very important. I'll give you a fabulous example. Let's say in Hong Kong, right? This is one example. Let's say in Hong Kong, there is this Kowloon station. On top, we have this retail component, which is 2 to 3 floors. Then the roof of the retail is actually an urban civic plaza. Then on top, you actually have retails, hotels, and offices. So it's truly a proper integrated mixed-use community, right? So we do not have these kind of mixed-use projects.
We have a little example right across our hotel now, like the MRT station.
Yeah.
So how that we have designed before. So we wish like we have such buildings. Please go on.
You're talking about the
MRT
connection?
station I mentioned similar one that you have talked about.
Exactly. See, the thing is, the roof of the MRT, are we using it?
That's exactly the point.
For example, right? See, the thing is, in our density, it's very populated space, right? Chennai, let's say Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Bombay, these are the cities highly populated. So it's something where I can compare with Shanghai. We got very equal population in terms of, it's an apple-to-apple comparison. But the quality of space, what we feel is really missing. People, if you give a good space, definitely public will enjoy it. 3 examples right in front of, like I think Mark has designed it. So congrats for it.
Oh, thank you.
So there is one connecting, Indiranagar to Thiruvannamalur. That is one example. Then we all know what is happening in Kathibar, right? So it's fabulously 24/7. It's buzzing with activities. I myself have attended 2 interviews, two events there. Then there is one very recently I saw connecting the dead space, what we call it as a void space, right? That is underneath the Velachery Nadambakam bridge. If you go in the morning, it's bustling with activities. These sort of spaces, it's literally missing. Just to come back to this example, right? If you see in abroad, they understand that public spaces can actually happen in multiple levels. It's not necessary that it has to be in one level, right? For example, in China, you take, there is this concept of multiple level of public spaces, and then the actual building starts on top, which is which is fantastic. Right? We do not have that kind of a mixed use and that kind of a projects in India generally. We are actually doing one project in Hyderabad right now for SARS IT Tower. It's not really a public building, but you have this 4 to 5 floors of retail component, and then on top we have this 36 floors of office. Then the other side there is a hotel. Then on top of all these, it's a service apartment. So it's a proper mixed-use project, very well connected with the MRT project. The next to is that is the MRT. So that's sort of a space where the idea is the whole point is you create an urban fabric for the people.
I think we are getting there. Sorry, that's one of the political subjects. I think we are also coming with unlimited FSI. What do you think about that?
Definitely, unlimited FSI is city. Cities like Chennai, we got to go with high density, high density, high rise. That should be the phenomena here. We are doing 4 to 5 projects in Hyderabad, all are high rise. If you give 18, just to give you an example, if you give 18 meters setback, sky is the limit. Whereas in Chennai, we have this 2 FSI, 3-point FSI. I do not think this is the way to go in future, considering the kind of population that we have. Hyderabad is a very good example. They are going much higher. You just got to see Hyderabad, a lot of high-rise buildings that is coming in, and we just need to add a little bit of a quality in public spaces. That's all we wanted to do. So that is something that.
So what do you think about when I used to work in the US and probably other places that I used to, there is skyscrapers. Then you can walk across the skyscraper. There's no compound wall. Okay, your city and the high rise of 100 floors, it's connected to you.
Correct.
Like you can walk into their the lobby or the entrance right there. Just the city footpath is next to that.
Correct.
That's how this entire cityscape is actually connected into the skyscrapers. Even on this all this new developments even in Singapore or Dubai or many places. That's what I've seen. But unfortunately, I don't see such things in India. But what about in Hyderabad and other places? They don't have anything. You have
Hyderabad, it is picking up, I would say. But it is just much far ahead than Chennai. But having said that, we are still not in that level where in Singapore or see the thing is the ground level is very permeable. It's very porous, right? People can connect and there is an instant where the walkways, building to building is all connected with link bridges, walkways, underground subways. These are the spaces, and also these spaces can be supported with F&B, retail component, so that it is also a financially viable model, and also it can promote a lot of local businesses as well. So these are the spaces and typologies that we should really look into it, and what we call in urban term as a smart typologist. Rather than we have a master plan where there is a land use says hotel, office, residence, industry. No, it's not that. You have to come up with a comprehensive master plan, and in that master plan, we should clearly say what needs to be built, where it needs to be built. So that kind of a suggestion has to be there in master level. The master plan urban level, communication has to be there. Then these sorts of innovation and design automatically follows in place. So that's what I feel.
So you think the future of urban design or the future of urban scale is in the hands of architect or is in the hands of commoners?
Okay, that's a very diplomatic question, but anyway, what I would say is we should definitely need a right governance in place to start with. We'll have to have a definite right governance in place so that who can have the decision makers, the policy makers has to understand that where the city is growing and what level, in what pace we are going in and come up with typologies. We can take a lot of references from our country. Even Singapore is now coming with a 2030 green plan. They are already far ahead and they have a very clear strategy in terms of growth, and they are touching all aspects of your life, right from EV vehicle to your electricity consumption, zero carbon footprint. We are talking about digitalizing the whole. They have this entire data of the entire city with them. So much of focus is going on right now. So those kind of references definitely we can take.
So in Singapore, your experience, do you think the architect's contribution is very vital there?
Definitely. See, the thing is, any project, it's called URA, right? Urban Design Development Authority. Any project that is not just the architects and urban designers, but also public interaction is there. Any projects that come, especially government projects, it has been displayed in the market for everybody's, for the community's review, and they can also give them a say, right? What needs to go, what is their impact here, and what kind of contributions that they would like to see. All that based on that suggestions is what it's being developed. That's how the master plan has to be developed. And that's the right way of approaching it.
So, from your experience that I could really gather, so the spaces that needs to be utilized very, very properly. And we are going for a high rise, and we are going for a multi-use type of
Mixed use, I would say. Smart
mixed use and smart use type of typology
Yes.
of building. Those things are the future of
Yes.
urban design.
That is
And
something that I would love to see in Chennai, being in my native place, so my city.
So do you think our rules and regulations allows it?
Sorry?
Maybe I can ask Mr.
Yes,
Pandian to touch upon this. What are the flexibility, limitations and the rules and the regulations which actually helps rather probably improves or taking the urban scape of Chennai into the next level? So I'd like to ask Mr. Pandian, is having enough experience in working in various places and a lot of big organizations, HKS and others. Can I ask Mr. Pandian, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. I think city development rules is the key for all the developments that is happening in the urban level. Urban development is more dependent on that. But are we actually, because we are talking about this unlimited FSA and all now, I think that it's being proposed on that now. But are we ready for it? Are we ready for that development? If the government approves for unlimited FSA, is our infrastructure is enough? Are we, having enough infrastructure to accommodate that? That is where the question lies, Because Chennai is growing faster, and it is ironically, it's just growing one side and too faster one side, and one side, just too crowded places are there. And
we all want growth. We all want growth.
Yeah, we all want growth.
So we should all complain on growth. So
we
how do
want
we channelize?
Actually, growth is it is unavoidable, but it is predictable, because we should be able to accommodate it, and through this regulations that we are forming, and whatever regulations that we are having, that has limitations are there. I think as all architects agree for it. So Mr. Ravinder was also saying that it should not be too rigid. Actually, if you take an example,
Do you think our rules are rigid? So sorry to interrupt. So do you think our rules are rigid or flexible?
Not everything, but definitely many part of it's very rigid. I would say some
Any specific
example.
experience or specific, probably some of our colleagues, architects, would like to know such experience.
Sure. So let's say land use plan. So zoning of the land. We had a project very close to ECR, and the land was particularly coming in Akafay recharge area. So the land is supposed to be having only 0.8 FSI. 0.8 FSI is that what we get, and we are talking about unlimited FSI, and it is a 0.8 FSI. And also this regulation puts one ceiling that it can go maximum up to 300 meters square. One side is 0.8 FSI, another side is 300 meters square. And maximum coverage of the plot also, it's only 40%. So I think it will not work out, first of all, because if you put 0.8% or 0.8 FSI, it is not going to work for the 40% of land cover also, because all the way they are sealing it. But the pathetic point is actually that the land is not having any relevance to that aquifer area itself. The client was asking, see, what is this? See, next to my plot, the guy is building a huge building. Next to my plot is development is mine, but my one pocket is white is committed. Somewhere, sometime, somebody has written it's under aquifer area. But today, and somebody is suffering it. So we had to really go for the client was so particular to develop that land, but we had to split that land into 3 different registration. We had to get even a lot of
Sorry, we have to also respect the underground agriculture.
Definitely.
As a sustainable development. So we can't say so because of somebody is owning that. So
it's definitely, I agree with that. When the rigidness I'm talking about is actually when the next plot is it is in some other zone, and this plot is in the other zone. So who will solve it? who will evaluate, who is going to determine that it is not in, where architects are telling. So we have to go for the reality. And if it's really accredited, we should, because as an architect, I will also will not say that, okay, you should go for it.
So, Mr. Ranjit, architect Ranjit want to add a point on that.
Actually, I want to add on to what Karnakaran sir was saying. There are few things in our development control rules, like where we feel, I know like most of the architects here could agree on this and they can feel my statement. Like one such project, like a mixed use, like it's a vertically stacked mixed use. It's basement plus 4 floors of commercial space and 18 floors of residential space. We are doing it in the heart of the city at Ashok Pillar. So you could see the scale of the building, right? Like 22 stories height. We have given around 12 to 13 meters of setback as per their TNCDBR regulations, but all architects could want to have some kind of nice facade which could interact with the urban scenario and the people, because it is also a transit-oriented development. The metro is like hardly 1 second away.
This is the project Basham Ashok.
Not Basham. Closer to Basham, we are developing one more thing. It's a government project. So, like we have designed a nice facade. Like everyone would like to have their own pedigree to fall into their designs and have a beautiful this thing. Functionally also working towards the betterment of the urban design. But one thing, when we are applying for CMD approval and everything, they said like 1 meter projection, that's it. They have censored most of our designs and we had to stick with only 1 meter projection of
sensitivity towards the environment. So very, very well said, sir. That's a good thing. But one point that I would say, like whatever you touched upon, like we are starting to create some bridges underneath the bridges and good urban spaces, even Katipara and other places. But that I think the public body is listening, and public body is actually listening to the demands of the people and demands of the professionals and demands of the spaces. I think that's being slowly changed. So with that program in place, robust with the investment in place, I would say many of these places will change. But the water bodies, it's kind of slow, from my opinion, and but it's in the park actually. So in our project that we take care actually, like we also like created. You got a project like in Williwakam tank in North Chennai area. So it was literally like complete sewage with a lot of silt, and there's about 26 acres of the land basically like completed with silt with Chennai Metro Water Holding. And through our company, Landtech AEPC, we created a beautiful water body. Now you would have seen in the papers, and now the government is putting some glass bridge over it. And there is also some round-down and so many other interactive spaces they're creating, and it has become a revenue place now. And we created a few freshwater body, and in fact, the entire North Chennai Sidco Nagar area has been catering as a drain point there. So I was one of the instrumental in that project. But slowly it's happening. So I see that urban scape is slowly changing.
Yes, sir.
So I also wish I'm on the same boat actually.
Yeah, I have seen that Williwakam thing and Sidco thing. I really appreciate it has been done in that part. I have seen, I appreciate, but in other parts like Adyar and Home I am really disappointed with that.
So when I have a space in my role that I do my ethical part, but beyond that it's not none of our control. But together I think we should create a space with our spaces like it's in our hands as a profession.
The thing is, we got to come up with a comprehensive master plan, as mentioned. That should also have a biodiversity and ecological balance. That has to be part of the master plan. And that should take care of all these visions. We totally understand these emotions because these are the things that defines Chennai, right? For us, we've been seeing this for quite some time now. So we hope things will change. But these are definitely the point that needs to be addressed.
So thank you, Ramjit. Thank you. So I think like we are running out of time. So I didn't think that was the time for a Q&A. But anyway, it's a very good question. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all the panelists for such a passionate dialogue, and a huge round of applause for that. I request all of you to please be on the dais as we will be proceeding with the felicitation ceremony. And for that, I would like to request Mr. Mahesh Nagendra from Super Services India Private Limited to come onto the dais. I would like to request Mr. Mahesh Nagendra from Super Services India Private Limited to come onto the dais and felicitate our dignitaries. Mr. Mahesh Nagendra from Super Services India Private Limited will be felicitating Mr. Mark Selvaraj, Principal Architect, Lantec AEPC Private Limited. Mr. A. Karunakara Pandian, Chief Architect, Zionark Architects. And also Mr. Ravinder Ramesh, Founder, Ara Architects. Thank you, sir. I request you to please be on the dais as there will be a photo op. Thank you. I now humbly request Mr. Jay Shankar Menon from Brixis to please come onto the dais to felicitate our dignitaries. Mr. Jay Shankar Menon from Brixis will be felicitating Mr. Ranjit Kumar, KN Partner, RDX Architects. And also Mr. Shagul Nizamuddin, Principal Architect, ISRA Design and Infratech Private Limited. Thank you, sir. I would like to request you to please be on the dais. I would now like to invite Mr. Lakshmanan Jairam, Proprietor, Enrig Designs. Mr. Lakshmanan Jairaman, Proprietor, Enrig Designs. Mr. Lakshmanan Jairaman, Proprietor, Enrig Designs, will be felicitating Mr. Ravi Kumar, Sales at Southfield, Nexion Services Private Limited. I would now request all the dignitaries to please come to the center of the stage for the photo op. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.